following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Avard, your host. And today we're going to be talking about music with Lindsay Rinaldi. How'd I do?
Yep, perfect.
Wonderful. And the Nashua School of Music.
Nashua Community Music School.
See, I know it. Oh, you told me right before the year. Okay, anyway, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
We
Thank
had
you for having me.
Was it a year ago, 2 years ago?
It was about a year ago.
Okay.
Yes.
And you just took over as the director?
As the executive director. Yes, it's been 2 years though at this point. So I think you had me on in the fall of 2014.
Okay.
So yeah, we've made some wonderful progress since I've taken over as executive director. I'm thrilled to be in this position.
Interesting. So tell me about the progress. What's going on?
There's so many different dynamic angles that the nonprofit Nashua Community Music School has been expanding since I took over as director. One of the things that I was really passionate about was making sure that as a nonprofit we were actively serving our community. And so one of the things that has really quite exploded for us is our music outreach programming.
You're not the ones who put the pianos on Main Street, are you?
We are not. We are not, but I'm a big fan that they're there.
That's a great idea.
It
I
is.
just saw it on Chronicles last night.
Yeah, it's a great idea. We're a big supporter of music everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so the music outreach programming that the Nashua Community Music School offers. So a lot of people, they think of a music school like ours as just a place where you can take private lessons or take classes. But one of the things that I'm really passionate about as someone who's lived in Nashua since I was 10 years old is making sure that as a nonprofit organization, we're also actively serving our community. So one of the things that I've put together is the music outreach programming wing of the Nashua Community Music School. And what that is that we bring programming such as recitals, concerts, workshops that are free and enriching to outside organizations. Sometimes they are at other local public or private schools. Sometimes they're on behalf of the city of Nashua and the Nashua Public Library, a part of the Nashua Art Walk.
Right.
But all of these are different special programming that are meant to give back and involve the Nashua Community Music School with more partners in our city and our surrounding cities.
Interesting. So how does that work? Do you get an ensemble? You go do, or how do you do that?
So we have a variety of different programming that is available for you to check out on our website underneath our music outreach heading. So we have a bunch of workshops and concerts that are available that we'll send out. For example, one that's been particularly well received is we have a specialist in African drumming. So when folks are interested in bringing a more multicultural experience to their organization or to their event, they'll call us, and we will send one of our instructors, who's a South African native, to their organization to host and teach folks about the African drums. So it was, I believe, last year about this time, New Searles Elementary School hosted us, and we offered, I believe, a total of 12 different drum circles for all classes, grades K through 2. And we taught each class about the different types of multicultural instruments. They got to get their hands on authentic drums and learn while doing. And that's really the goal of our music outreach programming, is to involve as many people as we possibly can in music.
Right. Interesting. So summer's coming.
Yes.
And kids are going to be out of school. Is this a good time to be enrolled in the music school, or?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, especially in summer when you have a little bit more free time, you can practice. I find that it is the perfect time to get involved with music. We offer private music lessons all summer long for children and adults. So even sometimes adults have flexible schedules during the summer. Sometimes they get those long weekends. Taking private lessons at the Nashua Community Music School, where you can really pick and choose your dates during the summer months, can be a great way to do something fun and different over the summer. And for the youth in the greater Nashua region and the surrounding towns, we have a series of one-week specialty music camps that have all sorts of different focuses. So for example, we have a flute academy for anyone who's interested or active in the school band. If they want to keep playing flute, they sign up for our flute academy, which is a 3-day workshop. We have a Broadway camp week. We have a summer strings week.
What's the Broadway camp?
Broadway camp, actually I'm also the director for it.
Is it singing?
It's singing, dancing, and acting. We put together a custom show. We write a show that specifically fits the campers that enroll. And we pick Broadway musicals that are popular, or songs from popular Broadway musicals, and we string it together so that each of these kids get the opportunity to be the soloist, or not. If they don't want to, we don't force them.
Yeah, that's a big step.
Exactly. But we find that if we can make the process really accessible and exciting, then they're more than likely to take the chance in that type of setting. So
where would they
that's
perform?
Great. All of the performances, for actually the majority of the performances, take place in our recital hall. So we're very fortunate in that we're one of the few music schools that have a recital hall on site.
Which brings me to the next question. Where is this place?
We're in the Nashua Mill Yard. We actually are right off of the brand new Broad Street Parkway, and it has been just the best thing for us. It makes access to the Nashua Mill Yard so much easier.
It's not this dead end that you drive into and you go, do I want to be here?
No, it looks beautiful, and every day we see more construction working on beautifying and sophisticating the area. And we're located at 5 Pine Street Extension in the heart of the Mill Yard.
So if you're at the chimney,
Yep.
take me from there.
Take a right. You'll be at the stop sign. So if you're coming from the Broad Street Parkway, you're going to stop at a light right in front of the large Mill Yard smokestack.
That'll be on your right.
That'll be like right in front of you if you're stopping at the light. You take a right, and then you'll be at a stop sign. You take a quick left, and then you follow around the buildings. So the first time it can be a little bit confusing if you're not familiar with the Mill Yard, but we're right on the outlet where Mines Falls Park comes out. So you always see joggers and bikers running right past our entrance as well.
Ah, okay.
And we do have a very helpful directions video on our website, which we definitely recommend for families who are coming for the first time to check it out.
So some people, if you were to go down and around a big building, that's not where that big parking lot is. That's not where you're at. You're going to take a right, and I know exactly where that entrance is. Okay.
We are in the heart of that big parking lot, though.
Okay. All right. So maybe I'm still a little confused. So
Maybe we're thinking of two different
you know
entrances.
that long building that has a big, huge parking lot that goes down. I know if you take a right.
So there's a
Are
bunch
you
of
near
other.
Bikram Yoga?
Yeah. We're in the next building. We're in the one next to it.
Okay, so that's a whole totally different section that my mind was at. So
Yeah.
if you know where Bikram Yoga is, or
Right.
Family Youth Services.
Yep. So we're in the same building as the other yoga place, Banyan Tree Yoga, and there's actually a new cafe that just opened up in our building.
Ah, cool.
Called the Mill House Cafe, and they're awesome. And they're helping us with like our summer camp lunches and snacks this year. So check them out.
What kind of square footage you have there?
So we have about 3,000 square feet.
Wow.
So it's a pretty large facility. We have a bunch of different smaller practice rooms, a large-scale classroom, as well as a full recital hall. So that's a really wonderful space because we can be very versatile when we offer our summer camp programs. It's not just sitting in one room the whole day. Everybody moves around, and there's a schedule and things like that.
I sing, and I play the guitar.
I remember you saying that last time.
Sometimes when I'm at the Capitol, I play, and sometimes I get requests, hey, do you teach? And I can teach very basic, very basic, but it's not something that I do.
Sure.
You know, that's something that you folks would take somebody right from the beginning and help them along all the way with the guitar, right?
Absolutely.
There could be a woodwind, piano, violin, anything from those genres, any kind of instrument. Is that my understanding?
That's correct. We offer lessons on all private, all instruments, so piano, voice, guitar, ukulele, flute, French horn, all of them.
All right, so say you got a kid who says, I want to play the saxophone. And you go in for some lessons and, it's not working. Do you tell them, hey, it's not working and move on to something else? Or how do you encourage a student to stay in music if that instrument isn't their forte? How do you coax them into something else, or do you do that?
Well, we want them to have fun. That's number one. So if they're not having fun, then we need to make a change. Right. One of the things that we recommend for students who are new to an instrument is take advantage of one of our trial packs, meaning you can sign up for just 3 lessons, so 3 weeks of lessons or 3 bi-weekly lessons, whatever works for your schedule, where you get basically a little taste of the instrument. And we're also very fortunate that often there are folks who donate instruments to us, so we can then rent them out to students. So they don't necessarily have to come to the school with an instrument in hand. They can make an arrangement to rent one of our stock instruments. So that way the family doesn't have to incur any huge cost while you're still trying to figure out if the student is really passionate about it.
I guess the question should have been if the instrument doesn't fit the kid,
right?
But they still have a love of music. Can
right.
They, because you see kids, I tried trombone, but I didn't like it, and then I tried this, and I didn't like that, but then I got the piano, or I got the violin, or something, and it was a good mix.
And that's why those trial packs are really great, because you can bounce around to different instruments. You could say, okay, well, I'm going to take piano first, and then maybe I'm going to take cello, and then maybe I'm going to take flute, and you try to figure out which one you like. We also have a whole host of group programming, which I think is a really great way for especially younger students to get an idea if they like to be involved in a group setting. So not necessarily just an ensemble. So for an example, we have a group called the Trash Talk Percussion Ensemble, and they do recycled percussion. And you may have seen them around town. They've been playing a lot at the Nashua Holiday Stroll and at the library and a variety of different events, and you'll see them this summer for sure. But because that became so popular, that's our adult group. So we have mature high school students, college students, and adults playing in that group. And they're actually having a free open rehearsal on Monday, June 6th at 7 p.m. So if you're interested in trying that out, you can drop in for that. That's my little plug there, shameless plug. But what I was going to say is, because that was so popular, we created Trash Talk Junior, which is for children to kind of get that idea and get that experience. So it's a great way for somebody who's interested in rhythm and wanting to be involved in music as a whole, but is not necessarily ready to take the responsibility of practicing an hour a day and being very regimented. There's lots of different ways to be involved in music.
So you have these programs, you have these instruments. Some kids can't afford it.
Sure.
We had a Music Matters that helps hopefully with the schools, but there are organizations like the Freeze Brothers Big Band. They actually help with scholarships. Do you have scholarship programs that people that help or sponsor the music school?
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, that's also one of the big changes that I made since I came on as executive director. Although the Nashua Community Music School always had a financial assistance program, when I came into the role as executive director, I made that a top priority. So we launched a full-scale campaign called the Music for All Scholarship Campaign. And what that is it attracts donors, whether they be from just Nashua residents, other area families, or anyone who's passionate about helping students of any age who meet a certain financial need status be able to have access to our programming. So we offer full scholarships, partial scholarships, work-study scholarships for older students who may need to earn tuition credit by working in the school in order to pay for their lessons or pay for their classes. And the Music for All Scholarship Campaign really has been catapulted into the next level of success in great thanks to the city of Nashua. We have been very fortunate last year to be the recipient of a generous grant from the city of Nashua in order to expand our program. That, in collaboration with other generous donors, really had our scholarship program increase by 500% in the last year.
Wow.
So we're really hoping that we'll be continuing to earn that type of support moving forward so we can continue supporting the breadth of students that otherwise wouldn't necessarily be able to take advantage of our high-quality programming.
It would be really nice if Nashua could become the Nashville of New England.
Yeah, right?
That would be so cool. You know, we had an event, and music really is an important part, I think, of a community. But, you know, there's some kids, I think, that they can't afford an instrument, and they're not good with sports. They're not good with school. They're not popular. Dangerous place to be when you're a kid. And sometimes if they have a talent and that talent can be explored with an instrument,
Absolutely.
you save the life.
Absolutely.
You must have some success stories.
We do. I would say that something that comes to mind is we have a work-study student that we have that has been a work-study student for the past 2 years. She's an aspiring musician. She's trying to be a professional singer, and I think she's doing a really good job at it. And you know, she came to the music school, and she's actually one of my personal voice students. And she said, you know, I was never really good at school. I never fit in the box of what school, you know, expected of me. She graduated from Nashua High. She went on to get her associates at the Nashua Community College. And after those 2 years, she's like, I just didn't fit the mold, and I didn't really know where to go. And I always had this love of music in my heart. And now I'm just so thrilled to say that, you know, she is performing now more than ever, and her voice has grown tremendously, and she is the first one to lend a helping hand anywhere we are in the city, whether it be at a special event. She sang and performed at the Nashua Holiday Stroll this year, and to just rave reviews, and it's just so thrilling to see someone who starts from a place where they feel like they don't belong, and then get to a place where they say, you know, well, I belong here. And that's what I really think, you know, the arts in general, you know, can do for anyone, but particularly for musicians. I think that the Nashua Community Music School can just be a beacon for all those folks to explore and to create a little bit more enrichment in their lives, whether it be as a hobby or as a professional aspiration.
Right. Or, you know, exactly, in both, and as a hobby, you know, just being part of the community. Sometimes I think music just opens a door where words can't. It just does, and it's just an amazing thing. And I call them lost souls. Some of those kids that can't fit in, they just don't fit in, and more and more you see that. But you put an instrument in their hands, all of a sudden they become part of a group. They're learning math. They're learning the music language. They're learning how to appeal to somebody's heart with this language, or a group of people. Or you have to stand in front of a group of people, which is said to be one of the most scariest things in the world. You're performing, and you're communicating. You've just drawn out somebody in a way that sometimes the school doesn't work that way. You know, hey, obviously we gotta move them along. We gotta teach, read, write, but this can bring somebody out of their shell and help them become a very productive person. I strongly believe that. I see that in so many different people.
And you can see that no matter what age someone is, too. You can see that, you know, in a 5-year-old in our earliest childhood programming, all the way through our adult students. You know, they start to find the place where they fit and where they belong, and whether they take advantage of the number of performing opportunities that we have, or whether they just really enjoy the one-on-one attention from their private instructor and the benefit that they're getting each week from the instruction. Either way, it's enriching lives, and that's what part of being a part of a community is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think it helps establish us better as a nonprofit, as a charity.
As far as the school also, I've noticed Kylie comes home and she's got her flute and she's with Elm Street and they have these little programs. I can hear her upstairs and she plugs it into the computer or it's already in there and she's got the microphone hooked up to her flute and she can play through the instruction. Obviously that's just a machine and an instructor can help. But do you have technical stuff too that's keeping up with the times, if you will?
Sure. I mean, music technology is, skyrocketing just as much as any other field in music. I would say part of the place where we utilize the most music technology is within our composition program. So we have a composition class where you learn how to write your own music. And we also have a composition camp, a one-week camp called Young Composers, where students come together and they learn to write their own music. They start out by doing little workshops like, let's write a jingle for, here's a commercial. And then they progress into writing a full-fledged composition on the instrument or group of instruments of their choice, which I think is really wonderful because with music technology, although being able to read the music or play the music is helpful, it's not necessary in order to make sure you can still be creative and put together a meaningful sound. And I think that finding different areas of music other than just playing is wonderful, but creating is how it all got started. If we didn't have composers, then we would have nothing to play.
Right.
So I think that sometimes students hear in their music classes about like Beethoven and Mozart, and they think, oh, well, those people were geniuses. I could never do that. But it doesn't start there. It starts with an idea, and then we learn to expand on that musical idea.
And sometimes I just take that first step, and then take the next step, and then the next step, and you'll be amazed at what you can produce. And if you don't like it, you can always start over. But I know I've written a couple of small things. It's nothing great, but there's a sense of accomplishment that I actually wrote something,
Absolutely.
We have I wrote the New Hampshire Capitol song, the official New Hampshire
Oh,
Capitol.
that's cool.
That I sing to the fourth graders when they come to the Capitol.
Uh-huh.
And I was up there today. I was actually singing to Senator Bertzel's students from Theyre.
Great.
And I tend to, in my mind, I do a little game. I try to figure out who's the musicians in the room because I see a certain bebop, a tap of the foot,
Right.
Or somebody mouthing the words, and I'll lift up the hands and I'll see how many kids play an instrument. We had one group, maybe a half a dozen, and then another group, there was just everybody played an instrument. And of course I had to ask every kid, what did you play? What did you play? And I play the flute. Oh, that's beautiful. Or I play the piano. Oh, that's great for theory. And I play the drums. Yes, well, everybody has to listen to you because you're setting the pace.
Sure.
It's a great reinforcement for them. But I'm able to use that little tool to communicate because they're at the Capitol. It's all big. It's fun.
Sure.
But, it's the Capitol. If you can say you actually sung there, I made a mark.
Right.
Well,
actually, we were very fortunate in that we brought Nashua Community Music School students to the state capitol. We were just there just a few weeks ago on May 18th. We brought a few select flute students and their flute instructors, and we got to perform for Governor Maggie Hassan
so cool.
and the Executive Council. And it was amazing. The students were glowing. They performed beautifully. Most of them did duets with their teachers. And they got to meet Governor Hassan, and they got to meet the Executive Council. And
that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. And I was trying to express it, and we had students, they were all Nashville residents for a variety of ages.
Oh, I wish I'd have seen that.
It was just wonderful. Well, if you want to, we definitely have some pictures and that kind of thing on our Facebook page. So
are they coming back up at any time?
I hope so. I hope we get invited back up in the fall. That would be really wonderful.
Yeah, that would be really great. So any new events, anything coming up in the next few weeks, or is it just summertime? Get register, get involved with these programs to help make the summer. If you're not going away for the summer.
Right, that's part of the reason why we have 1 week summer camp programs. That way families can pick and choose, like, okay, I'm here this week, so I'm gonna try this one. And same thing with our private lesson packages. They're very flexible, so you can pick and choose the dates that specifically fit into your schedule. It's not an every week commitment, unless you want it to be, of course. We have a new violin and a new cello instructor that are joining our staff. We are expanding our strings department, so I'm so thrilled to have them aboard. Anna Williams and Misha Veselov will be joining us.
That's so cool.
And we're very excited about that. Other things that are coming up, I mentioned before, we're having a free drop-in open rehearsal for our Trash Talk Percussion Ensemble. That's for mature high school students, college, and adults at 7 p.m. on Monday, June 6th. And if you're interested in helping to give back to other area nonprofits as well as the Nashua Community Music School, the New Hampshire Center for Nonprofits is hosting New Hampshire Gives Day, which is on Tuesday, June 7th. And all day you'll be able to visit the New Hampshire Gives website and research different charities. The Nashua Community Music School was one of the first 100 charities to be registered for the event. And you can make a donation to the Nashua Community Music School or other area organizations for any amount. Any donation made during New Hampshire Gives Day towards the Nashua Community Music School, 50% of that will go to our scholarship program for the upcoming year. So we're thrilled to be involved in something like that.
Fantastic. Well, maybe we'll ask you in the fall to have some of the students help out with the Music Matters event. We're gonna have another one.
That
So
sounds really
we had
interesting. In fact, when I heard about it, I was like, why am I involved in this?
Yeah. Well, you know, it was a success. All the bands played. It was really well. I got a chance to sing too, which was fun.
Wonderful.
But the turnout was, was okay. We raised some money, but hopefully in the fall we'll have a bigger turnout and get more people involved, and it'll be something that we can do maybe twice a year. Because I really think it's a great idea to put an instrument in a kid's hands, and you're a place where they can follow up with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the public schools, they do a really great job with the means that they have. But anything that helps support those programs that are in the schools can really make the difference for a kid's experience in music.
Right. If they're, like you said, if they're having fun, that's the thing. You give them an instrument that doesn't sound good, or they're not doing well with it, they're not having fun. It's work. It's hard. I don't understand. I got to squeak. My strings don't sound right. There's a bow in the guitar, and my fingers hurt, or my flute doesn't close. If they're not having fun, it's a chore.
And that's one of the things that we're very fortunate. All of our instructors are just wonderful, highly trained, university-trained musicians, most with their masters, some with their doctoral degrees, all very advanced and experienced teachers. So they know how to adapt their curriculum on a dime to a student when you see them kind of going into the other phase of like, oh, maybe this isn't as fun as it is. They're very good at adapting, taking students right around and getting them to find the love in it.
How do people get in touch with you?
So the best way is to go through our website, which is www.nashuacms.org. You can give us a call at 603-881-7030 or email us at info@nashuacms.org.
Learn to play music. And thank you for coming on Gate City Chronicles.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks for watching the show. Until next week, we'll see you. Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles, and we want to thank our sponsor, Avard Cleaning. They've been a sponsor for quite a few years now, and we appreciate them being a sponsor. And if you want to be a guest on our show, contact accessnashua@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your story. Until next week, thanks for watching.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.